It was a Tuesday evening when I received the text. Simple, casual, harmless on the surface, at least that's what most people would think. "Dinner with the girls," she wrote, and I immediately recognized the subtle undertone. My wife, Lauren, had been distant for weeks, emotionally distracted, constantly absorbed in her phone, her friends, her world. A world I was slowly being pushed out of. I stared at the screen for a long moment, letting her words settle. She had framed it as an innocent night out, but I knew better. I had seen the patterns over the years, the late-night messages, the secretive phone calls, the small evasions that added up to something larger, something unspoken but unmistakable. I didn't reply immediately. I didn't panic. I didn't even show my usual irritation. Instead, I took a breath, measured my response carefully. One phrase, simple, deliberate. "Say hi to Jake for me." The moment I hit send, I felt the tension shift. It wasn't anger I felt or jealousy. It was clarity, a quiet understanding of the truth that had been building beneath the surface of our marriage for months. Jake, her coworker, her friend, the one I had suspected for weeks, was no longer a mystery. And now, with a single text, I had drawn a line. Lauren didn't reply for hours, which was unusual. Normally, she would respond with playful emojis, explanations, or at least some casual reassurance. Silence, in this case, spoke louder than any words could. I knew she had read my message. I knew it had landed. That night I sat alone, reflecting on the years we had shared. The good times, the laughter, the connection, they all flashed before me, sharp and bright. And yet, beneath it all, the subtle fractures, the repeated disappointments, and the growing distance that she had ignored or dismissed became impossible to overlook. By the time she returned home from dinner, I had a plan. Not a vengeful plan, not a dramatic confrontation, just a quiet, measured response to her choices. She had decided to blur the lines of loyalty and respect, and I would respond with calm, deliberate clarity, a way that left no room for denial, no room for excuses, and no room for misinterpretation. When she walked through the door, expecting the usual banter, the playful teasing, she was met with silence. A quiet calm that carried the weight of everything unspoken, everything ignored, and everything I had observed. The air between us shifted instantly, and I could see the uncertainty flicker across her face, the first crack in the facade she had been maintaining for weeks. Lauren froze in the doorway, her eyes flicking from the couch to me, searching for a reaction. The usual warmth, the playful teasing she expected, wasn't there. Instead, there was quiet, deliberate observation, the kind that unsettles people because it holds them accountable without a single raised voice. "Did you see my text?" she finally asked, voice cautious, tinged with curiosity and panic. "I did," I replied calmly, letting my tone carry weight without anger. "And I meant every word." Her lips parted slightly, as if she wanted to speak, to dismiss the implication but couldn't. I had learned a long time ago that when someone is confronted with undeniable truth, they often search for deflection. But I wasn't giving her the escape route. It was just dinner," she stammered. "You're overreacting." I shook my head. "No, Lauren. It wasn't just dinner. That text, that message, is part of a pattern. Late nights, secret messages, the way you've pulled away for weeks. I've observed, I've waited, and now I'm addressing it directly." Her eyes widened as she realized that my calmness was not ignorance. It was awareness. She could see it now. I wasn't blind to the signals she thought were hidden. And the mention of Jake? That wasn't a threat, a warning, or a bluff. It was clarity, the simple acknowledgement of the truth she had been trying to keep invisible. She took a step back, stumbling slightly, her composure cracking. You don't understand. He's just a friend." I leaned forward, steady, composed. "Lauren, you've spent years testing boundaries, blurring lines, and dismissing concern. Words like friend mean little when actions contradict them. I don't need to lecture you. I just need you to understand the impact of your choices, the reality you've been avoiding." Her eyes filled with tears, the playful confidence gone. The air between us had shifted irreversibly. She had expected argument, confrontation, perhaps guilt or pleading. Instead, she was met with calm truth. A mirror reflecting her own actions, plain and undeniable. For the next few hours she tried explanations, justifications, anything to regain control. But I let her speak, listening, not interrupting, letting the words reveal themselves for what they were. defensive, reactive, and ultimately powerless against the clarity I held. Finally, she slumped in the chair, exhausted, defeated. No more jokes. No more smirks. She realized that her casual arrogance, her teasing, her flirtations had consequences. And for the first time she had nowhere to hide. The silence stretched between us, heavy and undeniable. Lauren's usual confidence had evaporated, replaced by a quiet understanding that she had misjudged me, misjudged the boundaries of our marriage, and underestimated the consequences of her actions. I didn't mean anything by it, she whispered, voice barely audible, trembling slightly. Her hands fidgeted with the edge of her sleeve, a nervous habit I had noticed years ago, but never thought I would see again under these circumstances. I let her words hang in the air, giving them weight, but I didn't respond immediately. I wanted her to feel the reality, the clarity of the moment. Intent doesn't erase impact, Lauren. You've spent weeks, months really testing limits, flirting with the idea of excitement outside of us. And this dinner text, it's part of that pattern. It's not a single mistake. It's a choice repeated too many times. Tears welled in her eyes, and I saw her exhale slowly, as if the tension she had been carrying for weeks was suddenly breaking. I didn't realize. I wasn't thinking. I just thought it was harmless. I shook my head gently. Harmless? No. The words we say, the actions we take shape trust. And trust, once fractured repeatedly, is fragile. You've been careless with ours. And tonight I wanted you to understand, to see clearly that playful arrogance, casual teasing, and flirting have consequences. She bowed her head, quiet now, the smirk and jokes completely gone. For the first time I could see real humility, real understanding. She had been confronted not by anger, not by rage, but by deliberate calm, a mirror reflecting her own choices. I see now. I understand, she murmured. I won't do it again. I see how serious this is. I'm sorry. I gave a small nod, a mixture of relief and resolve. Good. That's the point, Lauren. This isn't punishment. It's reflection. Sometimes, people don't see the consequences of their actions until they are met with clarity, until they face the truth calmly but firmly. I wanted you to understand the impact of your choices, not through yelling, not through confrontation, but through undeniable reality. The evening ended quietly. No arguments, no dramatics. Just awareness, acknowledgement, and the understanding that playful teasing can only go so far before it threatens the foundation of trust and respect. As I watched Lauren sit there, the weight of realization settling in, I felt a sense of calm triumph. The smirk, the jokes, the flirtations, they had all been addressed in a way she couldn't ignore. And in that quiet, tense space, the lesson was learned. Respect and trust are never casual. They are the pillars of any relationship, and when tested, the response must be clear, deliberate, and impossible to dismiss. Tonight she went to bed humbled, and I knew without a doubt that she had finally understood.